that was stupid.
Never surrender.
Waiting for the next attack. You better stand, there's no turning back. 2 minutes to midnight. You're living in the golden years. Can I play with madness? Bring your daughter to the sun. There's no here up and down, falling down. Future real, what is real? Your time will come. I'm on my way. The pressure of knowing the final frontier. I don't know where, I don't know when, but
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Heels and Quads. I'm, of course, Levi, not joined by Tommy, but again for good reason, because I'm continuing my Iron Maiden ranking of their discography. And today on board we have number 16. And number 16 might come as no surprise, but also might come as a surprise because, spoiler alert, I feel like 16 and 17 are pretty interchangeable. Yes, of course, number 16 comes in as the X Factor. From October 2nd, 1995, Iron Maiden's 10th studio album. This record was during a dark time for Steve Harris, the main songwriter of the band. He was going through some personal stuff, and it was also the first album after Bruce Dickinson's departure in 1993, and to usher in the new lead singer for this and the following album, Blaze Bayley, who is an amazing artist. I think his music is pretty awesome. You should definitely check out his solo stuff, his solo band Blaze Bayley, or Blaze, I think is what it's called. And he was the guy for the job at the time in 1995, 1994, whenever they would have hired him. But going into the studio, they did well with these songs to accompany Blaze and his style and his voice. It all kind of culminates into these two records. This one being the first of those two. It's got some stinkers on it. And I mean stinkers as in least favorite, I guess I should say. You can really pick the album apart and say it's too different, it's too dark, it's too slow. I mean, I could say a million things about this record that are why it is where it is. And honestly, you could argue that this could be at the bottom of the list instead of Virtual 11, because Virtual 11 brings back that speed and energy and kind of just a better vibe than this record as a whole. But nonetheless, this is my ranking, and for X Factor comes before Virtual 11 for a couple of reasons. The album has plenty of high points for being during kind of a dark time. Sign of the Cross, the opener, Lord of the Flies.
We are Lord of the Flies.
Man on the Edge. And also one of my favorite tracks on the record is the 10th one, 2 a.m.
Here I am again, on my own.
It's really catchy for me, the chorus. Through the middle of the album, Fortunes of War through Edge of Darkness, it kind of runs together with that formulaic song structure from this record. Usually kind of acoustic-y start, slow start, picks up with the dun da da dun da da dun da da dun, that kind of Maiden gallop thing, because that's on all the records. It kind of picks up with that in each of those songs, but none of them are bad per se. I don't hate any of the songs on this record, but again, you listen to this as if it's the ushering of a new era in Iron Maiden. That would be short-lived, but nonetheless, it's a new time in Iron Maiden, and it's a section of that history, the mid-90s Iron Maiden. The reason this jumps ahead of Virtual 11 for me, I think, is because I'm a guy who listens to a discography in order, and This comes right after Fear of the Dark, so naturally I heard this before Virtual 11, and it gave me time to kind of fall in love with it in its own way. Virtual 11 doesn't have as many songs to me that I don't want to say stand out, because if anything they might stand out more because of the energy involved with them, but this one stands out because it's different in a good way. And again, ranking these records, these are my least favorites, not the worst, because I love the band and I love all their music. It still kind of remains with some signature Iron Maiden sounds, like I said, the gallop and even the slow parts leading up to the gallops. But they did that in a great way to accompany Blaze Bayley into the mix. He's got a different voice and a different tonality and a different frequency range than a Bruce Dickinson or a Paul Di'Anno. So these songs kind of fit with him, if that makes sense. I absolutely welcome this album for something different from the band. And again, it has some good tracks on it. I believe Bruce has performed Lord of the Flies or Man on the Edge before, maybe on the B-Sides record or during his comeback to the band. I can't nail that down exactly. I'm sure there's Maiden nerds out there that know a hell of a lot more than me that could tell you exactly what he is saying. But I believe the B-Sides has a couple of tracks where Bruce sings Blaze Bayley songs. That's why these two rank where they do. I don't hate the records. I like them both in their own way, but they are a perfect precursor to Bruce's return in 2000 with Brave New World, which you will eventually see on this list. So that's what I think of the X Factor. It's number 16 on my list of Iron Maiden rankings. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hit like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Run to the hill.